Horror decision out of the Supreme Court today. No, not the US Supreme Court, the Canadian one. Canada's Bill C-51 passed its Supreme Court constitutional challenge, thus cementing it into Canadian legislature. Bill C-51, also known as the Jian Ghomeshi Law, was passed after Ghomeshi's very public sexual assault trial, in which his main accuser, Lucy de Coutere, alleged rape 10 years after they broke up. Her allegation mentioned that she was roughed up, including choking and slapping, by Ghomeshi during the last time they had sex. Ghomeshi's lawyer surprised Lucy de Coutere on the stand with nearly 10 years of love letters she sent him after they broke up, including a handwritten letter stating, "I love your hands," and an email written hours after the alleged assault which read, "You kicked my ass last night and that makes me want to f your brains out." All from after they broke up, and remember, she made her allegation nearly 10 years later. It did not look good for the prosecution, and indeed, Ghomeshi was acquitted of all charges. Justice William Hawkins stated that the inconsistency and outright deception of the witness testimony had irreparably weakened the prosecution's case. I say Ghomeshi's lawyers surprised her, because under Canadian law, in criminal court, not civil, the defense does not have to disclose all the evidence they have to the prosecution. And having a woman made to look like a liar while being counter-interrogated under oath angered feminists so much that they changed these rules with Bill C-51. Now with Bill C-51 in effect, all electronic evidence held by the defense must be given to the prosecution prior to the trial. That way, false accusers can be prepared by the prosecuting team to take the stand with pre-made answers to their own love letters so they won't look really silly mid-trial while taking the stand. Also, there is another provision to the C-51 bill, for when the electronic evidence is too good for the defense, a feminist judge can ban the evidence from the courts altogether. In fact, the defense must now argue for their exonerating evidence to be able to enter court in the first place, all prior to the trial. That is, only for sexual assault trials. However, Bill C-51 does not cover murder, genocide or treason. These crimes were not serious enough to add to the bill. And it passed its Supreme Court challenge, with an astounding remark: ultimately, the right to a fair trial does not guarantee the most advantageous trial possible from the accused's perspective, nor does it guarantee perfect justice. Yes, a Canadian Supreme Court justice wrote that, "We have far strayed from the utopian justice system principle that states that it is better to have 1,000 guilty people walking free than a single innocent in jail, in favor of allowing feminists to get revenge on men who break up with them." But, this feminist push to reduce the right to due process is only happening in Canada, right? Right? Hell no. In a 2022 feminist penned letter for Title IX university sexual assault allegations, they demanded, "We ask the department to remove the presumption that the respondent is not responsible for sex discrimination until a determination is made." The letter further adds, "And we applaud the department's proposed rule for removing the Devos rules requirement that colleges and universities have a live hearing with cross-examination for allegation of sexual harassment and have a separate decision-maker. The harmful live hearing and cross-examination process, which is wholly unnecessary to determine what happened in a particular incident." Yes, you heard that right. They are pushing to remove the presumption of innocence and the right to even question the allegations. And yes, that letter was signed by 19 Democrat senators, including superstars Elizabeth Warren and Bernie freaking Sanders. I used to like Bernie Sanders and I used to tell people that he actually cared, but now I take it all back. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. In a letter comment submitted by 78 feminist organizations, they state, "We oppose the department retaining the harmful rule from the previous administration that currently requires schools to presume that the respondent is not responsible for sex-based harassment or other sex discrimination until a determination is made." Yes, you heard that right. A full-blown group of 78 feminist organizations are attacking the presumption of innocence. Wait, I got more. Remember last video when I said male student groups weren't allowed to be formed on campus? Did you wonder why? Here is why. ChatGPT help. Are student bodies sitting judges on campus disciplinary hearings? Yes, student bodies sometimes participate as panel members or adjudicators in campus disciplinary hearings. Their involvement varies by institution and case type, as each school sets its own policies regarding student discipline. So yes, feminists are blocking these formations of male student groups, so that when they falsely accuse someone of assault on campus, the alleged perpetrator does not get a jury of their peers, but instead, a jury of women who advocates against the presumption of innocence, advances that the hearings are wholly unnecessary, and parades banners calling for physical punishments. Wait, I got more. 15 feminists organizations filed an amicus brief demanding absolute immunity for accusers, even when malice is proven. Without protections from retaliation, including absolute immunity, victims will be dissuaded from using school reporting and disciplinary processes and will lose out on their education while perpetrators dodge accountability. By the way, you are literally allowed to sue God in the US, and it happened before, so yes, feminists are literally asking for judicial immunity for proven malicious false accusers that surpasses the level of immunity which is afforded to divine omnipotent beings. Wait, I got more. Student John Doe, of UC Santa Barbara, was found not guilty on appeal of the sexual assault allegation made by Jane Roe. Jane then intervened and moved to vacate the order, arguing that she had a right to preserve a guilty finding against John Doe. And then, 10 feminist organizations filed briefs in her support. Pursuant to California Rule of Court 8.200C, the California Women's Law Center and Know Your IX respectfully submit this application and proposed amici curiae brief in support of appellant Jane Roe. Yes, you heard that right. 10 feminists organization came forward demanding a man be maintained as guilty even after he was declared innocent by the appellate court, because him and his accuser go to the same school. Yes, guilty after being proven innocent. Now that is some To Kill a Mockingbird level bullshit right there. But there is no depth that feminists won't sink themselves to. And yes, they are actively banning that book, and if you wondered why, well, this is it. Here I wanna pause and give a special thanks to the organization, Title IX for All. They made the US portion of this video possible thanks to their very extensive reporting on the matters. I'll give the first link in the description of this video to their page. What you just heard from me was a mere fraction of the whole ordeal. You can read it all at their website. They also have a donation PayPal button. I recommend you click it. I sure did. And no, I am not affiliated with them in any ways. Now, onward to Scotland. In Scotland, they are pushing for specialists courts as well for sexual assaults trials. These courts should include pre-recording of the evidence of all complainers, so that the accuser won't have to be in the same room as the accused. Also throwing to hell the right to confront your accuser. Because according to feminists in Scotland, if you are a man accused of sexual assault, you just take it, you shouldn't get the right to question any of it. And these specialists pilots courts have also been tried in South Africa, New South Wales and New Zealand. And they are great, resulting in more and earlier guilty pleas. So there you have it, black on white, in signed by senators' letters, Canadian Supreme Court decisions and Scottish laws. Feminists are slowly destroying due processes, in order to be able to exert the full proxy violence of the state at the point of a finger without even being questioned in the first place or prosecuted if found to be malicious.